The sign's wrong. Ah, here's the part where she fixes the sign. Very Hello, friends. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here for a weird video. First of all, the window's open, so if you hear wind and birds, I apologize. It's kind of on and off nice out here, so I'm taking it when I can get it, and I'm leaving the window open. So I apologize if there are particularly noisy birds out there or something along those lines. So I am here today to talk a little bit about authortube and some conclusions I've come to. And I want to just make sure that, I don't know. We'll get there when we get there. First things first is, I mentioned before in another video that writing sprints just aren't doing it for me right now. I don't know what is different now about that, but they're just not working. And I see other people say that they don't work for them, and I don't want people to feel discouraged. Do not feel discouraged, because they don't work for everyone all the time, and they don't work for some people ever, and it's just not working for me. And to be real, if it was working for me, there are hundreds of writing sprint lives going on at any given time. So I don't think I'm going to continue doing writing sprints on Friday nights. I have noticed, as I've done a little bit of dissection and breakdown of the writing community on YouTube, aka authortube. Most of this is kind of coming from that. So let me walk through kind of quickly what the issues are that I'm running into with authortube and writing sprints and the space I'm in and kind of how I landed here. I've become acutely aware of a lot of criticism of authortube being toxic, authors giving advice that they have no right to give, authors giving advice that they don't follow. The first of that is the giving advice that you don't follow. I'm not even going to mess with that argument, mostly because people always give advice that they don't intend to themselves follow. People know what's right and don't do that, or know what would work best and don't do that. All the time. It's just because humans be doing human stuff, and that's human stuff. So I'm not going to worry about that corner of it. There's no point in talking about that. That's a human nature conversation. That's not an authortube conversation. We're just going to let that go by the wayside, and we're not going to touch on that conversation. However, as far as authortubers giving advice that they don't have a right to give, or they're wrong about, or whatever, I think that is incorrect. I also think that the important thing to note is that authortubers don't do much in the area of advice giving. I realize that a lot of people who make those comments probably watch a handful of channels who do like top 5, top 10, countdown videos of like what you shouldn't be doing in your book and blah, blah, blah. But I actually did research where I removed all of my identifying information. I went into an incognito window and I went through authortube, and the amount of authortubers who are actually teaching anything is lower than I think the perception is. So I don't know that it's a valid criticism to say that we shouldn't be teaching the things we're teaching. I think the problem is that we're not actually teaching them. I have never found a video, and I did look today, but I couldn't find one. Maybe I was searching the wrong things. Maybe I'm totally boomering it and I did it wrong. I couldn't find a video on literally how to outline. I found a lot of videos on outlining versus discovery writing / pantsing. I saw a lot of videos about I'll never outline or I'll always outline. I saw a lot of those kinds of videos, but I didn't see any where somebody like literally put up on a screen how to make an outline, what those things mean, how the layout works, why it works, those kinds of things. I'm not an outliner, but I know that that kind of a video could exist, and I couldn't find it. Oh, did you deliver me a ball? So yeah, the more I looked, the more I realized that it isn't that author tubers are giving bad information. It's that almost none of them are actually giving information. There's a lot of hyperbole, there's a lot of bloviating, there's a lot of clickbait titles and that kind of stuff. But I don't feel like there is actually a lot of teaching going on. So the criticism that the teaching is done by people who have no right to do it is kind of absurd, because I don't see any real teaching going on. I had a really hard time finding videos on topics that I would consider teaching or learning or educational. I found a lot of videos tangentially about those topics, but I didn't find a lot of videos literally about those topics. For instance, I found a lot of videos about what an editing process is and what things people feel about editing and how much work they put into it. Even things like line editing versus proofreading and those kinds of things. But there wasn't a lot about like what you're editing, what you're doing with those edits. But there isn't a lot of that. I don't think that criticism is valid for those reasons. However, I don't know that what we do offer on authortube, which is a shit ton of writing sprints, I don't know that that helps anyone. I don't know what benefit there is to being able to socialize between writing at all times. And I think that's the key there, is that when writing sprints were few and far between, it felt like a reprieve from the lonely corner of the universe that is being a writer. You know, you spend 20 hours writing a story, and then you get a 2-hour window of time where you do some writing and you do some chatting, and it's a nice little reprieve from that sitting in a corner typing my little face off. When there are writing sprints available 2, 3, 4 sessions at any given moment, it does take away the reprieveness from it. It kind of is one of those things about, you know, like if you lived in the Caribbean, you would have to hold a job and it wouldn't be a paradise to you in the same way. It's the same kind of idea. It doesn't become a positive reward anymore if it's the primary way you do it. So I think that's one of the reasons that writing sprints have kind of lost it for me, is that I had, instead of looking at it as a little flavor on the corner where I get to write with some friends sometimes, I turned it into, well, I don't want to write because if I do that, then I waste it and I don't get to use it during my sprints. And that is entirely counter to the point of the sprints entirely. And then the other thing is, there's just so many sprints to go to. There's just so many sprints to go to. I don't know how one would choose which sprint session would work best for them. I suppose the best thing you could do would be to, I don't know, try to find people who you connect with. But the problem there is that, you know, those people might be having an off day today, or, you know, it's just, I think the writing via sprints model is not as functional as it once was for me, and I don't know that it was ever as functional as I once believed it was. For that reason, I am going to change the format of the Friday night streams, and instead of writing streams, we are going to do author streams. We are going to talk about specifics about the writing community, about writing, about being writers, about improving our writing. We're going to bring in experts if we can. If not, we're going to grab their fucking articles off the internet. Like, we're going to do what we can to make actual learning happen on this channel, to make us function more as an improvement site and less as a circle jerk to talk about how awesome we are as writers while we do none of it. That's where we're at. You should like and subscribe, because I'm probably going to lose some subscribers. So I'll see you guys later. Bye.